Welcome back to the channel. What we're looking at here is the last harvest of 2024, and I'm walking through the garden checking out the items that I have left over, and I've run into the basil here. It's very dried out, and the frost has gotten to it. I don't know if the seeds are viable or not. I'll come back out later in the day and take a look at those. So I'm walking over now to where I had my pole beans and just taking a look at it, and I looked in between and I see now that there's still some green showing up, and so I'm pulling away the old pole beans and knocking everything down, looking to see exactly how the carrots are doing. Those leaves that are sticking up that are still green, those are carrots, and I want to be able to get into it and see if my carrots grew. I've never been able to grow carrots, so this is kind of exciting for me as I'm ripping off the old excess pole beans and trying to get things out of the way. I was also looking to see if I had any pole beans that still had some old bean small beans on there, so I could get some of the seeds. But there were no more beans left on those vines. So I'm to the point now where I want to try to pull and see what the carrots look like. I apologize for having to do a voiceover here, but the wind was very bad that day, and the noise was just, it was too great when I listened to it afterwards. So I'm doing voiceover now, and I do apologize for that, but still getting the narration, and you can see what I'm still working with there, getting the vines out, trying to feel the carrots and see which ones I want to pull out. And to my surprise, holy cow, I grew carrots. I never in this world have been able to grow carrots. And when I planted these, I just sprinkled the seeds throughout. I never went back and thinned them. I put the seeds in the ground. I would imagine April, no later than April 15th, or no later than May 1st. And it is now December 31st when I'm pulling them up out of the ground. I kind of just, once the deer took over eating the pole beans, I just let it go, thinking the deer can have the carrots too if they can find them. I just totally ignored it and forgot that they were there until I walked through the garden on this last day of the year. I happened to see the green sitting there, and I thought, well, I need to go see if there's anything, what's going on. So, but here I've actually picked all of them. Some of them were very small. Some of them were quite large. I was very pleased with the produce, and it kind of gave me a sense of, I'm going to try this again in the spring. But as you notice, the inside that Cinderblock raised bed there, when I first planted that, all that dirt was at the top level of the top of the cinder blocks, and it has since shrunk down a complete cinder block level. At the very base of this 3 cinder block high structure, I have wood scraps and cardboard and yard refuse scraps, and then I bought some bags of peat moss and cow manure and topsoil, and I put it in to the container. And I can see that either I pretty much know the ground shifted, and rain and water and whatnot moved the dirt down. So what I'll need to do before I can plant in here again is put more yard refuse in to at least halfway up the cinder block, and then come back through with more peat moss and more cow manure, more dirt, water it in and let it settle a little bit before I put the plants in there, because I don't want the cow manure to burn the seeds. Okay, back in the house. I got the carrots all cleaned off, got all the dirt knocked off of them. I noticed that these 2 carrots looked as if they were one before I started washing the dirt off, but as I got the dirt off, it now looks like they're hugging each other. And so I'm taking the larger one out as slowly as possible without breaking it, examining the larger one, and then I take a look at the smaller one and how it's arm, lack of a better term, grew into a circle around the larger one. And putting them back together again, it kind of looks like they're hugging each other. So I hope you liked the last tour of 2024 and the last harvest that I had. And stay tuned, I'll be doing more in the spring.